It sounds more classical. A lot of people in other approaches within vocal pedagogy might call this. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back in the studio with a good cup of tea. It's rather late to drink coffee, so we have tea tonight, and we're here for one more vocal analysis. Tonight we're going to listen to Clair Obscur Expedition 33, Renoir. I've made a few videos on Expedition 33 soundtrack already. I just love all of the songs that I heard, and this one was recommended to me by a subscriber. He sent me an email. His name is Loesch, and he's from China, and he recommended me to listen to this one, so I'm excited to listen to it. I haven't played the game just yet, but when I was researching about this song just to get the song to analyze, I found out I suppose that Renoir is the name of a villain, an enemy in the game, I believe. But anyway, I still want to play the game in the future, but up to this point, I haven't. So I don't know what to expect. I just know that all of the songs that I heard are amazing. If you're new to the channel, my name is Caio. I'm a singer-songwriter and voice teacher. As a singer-songwriter, just 2 weeks ago, I released my latest single. It's called Leave It All Behind. If you are into rock, fast and heavy guitars, high vocals, vocal distortions, then there is a big chance that you like the song, and it would mean the world to me if you could go there, give it a listen, and let me know your thoughts on it. And as a voice teacher here on the channel, my work is focused on laryngeal biomechanics and physiology, so basically, how can we control the muscles that we have inside our larynxes to achieve all of the sounds that we want to achieve in contemporary singing. So will be the object of our analysis here, vocal physiology. What are these singers or this singer doing in this performance here of Renoir? If you want to become a singing student, check out my singing course, Building Your Voice. In there, we talk about a range of different vocal techniques. We talk about active vocal schemes if you want to sing with a powerful sound, if you want to belt out. We also talk about soft, or we also say passive techniques in which the vocal folds are in passive tension, and sometimes we use them to be more expressive with our voices to create that dramatic strength in our performances. We also talk about ornaments such as vibratos, yodels, runs. We talk about, well, we have a complete module on vocal distortions. Yeah! How to practice and apply them in a way that will not hurt your voice, because of course we want to learn how to sing, but we do not want to hurt our voices in the process of doing it. Alright, so again, that's my singing course, Building Your Voice, link down below. In there you have all the information that you need. Okay, without further ado, let's listen to Renoir. I love this piano. I love this piano already. Okay, so again, our vocal folds, when we are singing, they can be in active tension or in passive tension. When I have more compression, when the muscles, the vocalis muscles, which are the muscle portion of the vocal folds, they are active, they are closing with more tension. This is active. If I start to let go because I'm relaxing more the muscles, then the vocal folds, we say that they are passive. And this here is mostly or predominantly a passive vocal scheme that inside vocal anthropophysiology, which is a theoretical framework for my work as a voice teacher, we call this vocal scheme here a Gregorian voice. So when she's doing vocal folds passive, but we still have that intention of singing forward. It's not as if she were trying to sing super quiet. No, that's not the case. She's projecting forward. Of course, the purpose is not to be super loud, but we have the intention of being heard for the Gregorian voice. Some vibrato as well. I believe this is the same singer that sang in some other songs that I've analyzed, including Un Vietnamese, and we can clearly hear the classical background, and of course that vibrato is part of it. Amazing. Here, we're starting to have some more active sounds here. Increasing the intensity. It's getting a bit stronger, belt-like. So that's quite interesting. We have such a contrast here. And this is quite nice because, as I always like to reinforce here, vocal technique is about expressing yourself through your voice, or using your voice to express yourself. When you're singing a song, you're telling a story, you're communicating something. And the function of vocal technique is not to sound cool. Okay, we also want to sound cool, usually, but that's not the goal. The goal is to communicate something. Here she's telling a story, even though I do not speak French, and I was, as you guys let me know before, they use a very specific language for this game that is heavily influenced by French, but it's not exactly French, so that we don't get spoilers from hearing the songs alone. But yeah, the song is growing, the story is growing, and she's growing her voice with it. Those arpeggios, amazing. All of the soundtrack of this game is so, like, at another level, and I mentioned this before, but every time that I listen to one of the songs, I have this feeling again, because I remember when I was younger, playing the Final Fantasy games, playing the Castlevania games, and listening to those songs, listening to that soundtrack, and everything was just so epic and powerful. And my point here is, I feel the same way now as an adult that's a music teacher and that never played the game before. So if I feel the epicness of these songs without having played the game, I can only imagine the experience that you guys have played the game and invested hours on it feel when you're listening to this in the game. But this is fantastic. All of the pieces from the soundtrack of this game that I've heard are just amazing, marvelous. Here, it sounds more classical. A lot of people in other approaches within vocal pedagogy might call this a flageolet. This. I'm still calling it inside, again, vocal anthropophysiology, a Gregorian voice. But the thing is, we have some important physiological changes that happen when we are singing above the high C, the C5. Basically, when we are singing below the C5 in a more usual or easily accessible range, let's say between the D2 and the B4, can go lower than that. Narrowing the vocal tract is a choice. We can choose to narrow the vocal tract to make those different shapes or not. When we are singing super low or super high, the larynx will need to readjust itself just to be able to reach those notes. That goes for man, for women, and for both super high and super low notes. When you're talking about those ranges, having specific vocal tract narrowings is a must. So if I'm singing the C here, I cannot have a neutral shape as I would have, for instance, singing this. When we're singing super high, we will have some I need quotation marks here, compensations. Again, the larynx will have to rearrange itself, and we will have some differences in sound because of that. So I'm singing with the Gregorian voice, and I can have a more open sounding voice when I'm singing here, for instance. When I'm singing super high, it will sound a bit different, okay? In terms of what the vocal folds are doing, they are still in passive tension. We still have that amount of subglottic pressure that's just enough to be heard, but I'm not exactly trying to be as loud as possible. It's not super quiet either, so we still put that in the realm of Gregorian voices, but because of that condition, we say that this is a compound vocal scheme now. We say that this is a horn Gregorian voice. When we are narrowing the vocal tract because we want to, and you're talking about lower notes, still a Gregorian voice, but now I'm narrowing the vocal tract because I want to. We say that this is a Gregorian horn voice. When that narrowing is happening because it has to happen for that part of our range, then we're talking about a Gregorian horn voice. It's only a matter of, is the narrowing of the vocal tract necessary or a choice? But alright, let's keep going. This is super cool. So good. So good. Okay, I was waiting for this because I knew that at some moment we would have this. This is what we call inside vocal anthropophysiology a breathy voice, for obvious reasons, because this is a vocal scheme in which the vocal folds are still in passive tension, and now we are allowing breathiness. We are allowing the escape of air. We have this couple muscles inside our larynxes that are called posterior cricoid muscles, and the function of these muscles is to open the vocal folds whenever we want to breathe, whenever we want to sing with a breathy voice like this, or whenever we want to sing with vocal distortions. Because you also have some hiss, some sibilant, some breathiness. For these vocal distortions here, they are working there, and we have this breathy voice. Really well done. Let's listen again. And it's hard to apply that breathiness, and you're singing super high. It's not. No, we have that breathiness happening there. And of course, we are using more air to make that happen, but the key here is reducing the resistance against that air. We are letting the muscles really loose and relax so that the air can just escape freely. Of course, we do have some movement, we do have a small degree of tension, otherwise you wouldn't have a pitch, so the vocal folds are adjusting and vibrating to create a pitch, but the level of tension is so minimal comparing to other techniques in which we would not have breathiness. By the way, this is a kind of technique that can only happen if we're talking about keeping and sustaining and maintaining your vocal health. These techniques can only happen if we are singing with a lower volume. And here we're talking specifically about singers who are singing with a microphone and having the microphone close to their mouths. So this wouldn't happen in the same way in a theater if you're singing opera. and amplified. If you don't have a microphone, this is usually not the kind of singing behavior that you will use in your performance because the vocal folds are super vulnerable. They are semi-open. The mucosa is really vulnerable, and if you send too much air, which will cause them to try and resist and close more, at the same time that you try to open them to create breathiness, you might hurt yourself. That's the reason why in classical singing, in more traditional singing approaches inside classical singing, it's not well seen and reinforced to sing with a breathy sound. Now in contemporary singing, because we have the microphone, we sing with the microphone, we can have the microphone really close like this, then it is okay because we are not concerned about making it loud, we just want to have the sound, the loudness, the volume the microphone will give us. Amazing. Fantastic. Alright guys, that's our analysis for Renoir from Clair Obscur Expedition 33. What do you think of the song? What do you think of my analysis? Let me know here in the comments. And what other songs you would like me to analyze next? Again, this analysis was requested by a subscriber via email. So if you want to hear my insights on a particular song, a particular performance, let me know. If you are curious about my own singing, I'm not only a voice teacher, I'm also a singer myself. I'm on the battlefield singing with my band, singing with my solo project, writing, recording, and releasing music. Please click the link that will be above here on the card or down below in the description to go to either my YouTube or Spotify original music playlist and listen to my songs. It would mean the world to me if you could go there, listen, and give me your feedback on my own songs. If you want to become my singing student, it's also in the description below. The link to check out my singing course, Building Your Voice, and there we talk about a range of different vocal techniques. We talk about active vocal schemes. If you want to sound powerful, if you want to belt out high notes, but of course also low notes, sing them with power and confidence. We also talk about passive vocal schemes. If you want to be expressive with your voice, even when you sing soft, and especially if you sing soft, we have a whole module on vocal distortions. Yeah! How to practice and apply them in a way that's healthy, that will not hurt your voice. We have a vocal exercise library with exercise for you to practice each of techniques. We talk about ornaments such as yodels, vibratos, runs. We have a bonus module on music theory for singers. All of that and much more inside my singing course, Building Your Voice, link down below. Alright, that's all for today, guys. You enjoy your day, you enjoy your tea, and remember, if your concepts cannot be seen here in the real world, they must change, and not the world.